Welcome once again to Upstock's Cric Index presents Reverse Sweep. And much like we did last week, we look at which assets went up, which stagnated, which dipped a little bit, and we look at all this through the prism of the Upstock's Cric Index. And just to remind you, very simply, we look at so many parameters. We looked at data over the last 3 years to arrive at these factors. Look at batting average, strike rate, economy rates, all that. We'll pit that against the acquisition price, the auction price, and arrive at a rating by which we can measure each player rating of up to 10. So there you are. It's a very simple way of doing it. Cricket analyze करने का एक simple तरीका. तो चलो start करके देखें. Match of the week is always a fun thing to do, isn't it? And there's so many good games, but we've zeroed in on one because there was such a story there. We're looking at Chennai versus Kolkata. I've often said I was very keen to see how Chennai managed in Mumbai. And I'll tell you what, they managed so well. They went on to make 220. Faf du Plessis, a blue chip there. They stayed with Ruturaj Gaikwad. He came in, and as a result, they were able to put on 220. Moeen Ali's done fantastic for them. But the drama and the reason it is the match of the week was because of what followed. 31 for 5 Kolkata. And here we're all watching the game thinking, oh, maybe it's an early end. Maybe we're off early today. And then it started. It started first with Andre Russell and Dinesh Karthik. I mean, when there's nothing to lose, Andre Russell is the most dangerous player on the planet. And he just went boom, 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 boom. Dinesh Karthik in his own way kept going. And yet it looked like it was a bridge too far. Then Pat Cummins, Sam Curran to Pat Cummins. Sam Curran has just provided the moment of the game, getting Andre Russell round his legs. And then Cummins goes boom, boom, 30 runs in the over. Now can someone stay with Cummins? Then the 2 runouts trying to keep Cummins in strike. Oh, there was so much drama. You look at it sometime later and say the difference was 18 runs, and it won't tell you the story of all the drama behind the performances of Andre Russell, Pat Cummins, and a little bit of Dinesh Karthik. It was a wonderful game. Time now for our Upstock's Cric Index Spotlight section. Now, just as your assets go up and down, depending on their traded value, so too do players go up and down. And so we try and track these players every week as well, using various parameters, batting, bowling, fielding, and then we arrive at a Cric Index of 10 and see who's been moving up and who's been moving down. So we'll pick 3 every week, 2 that assets have gone up, and 1 where, well, it's not quite had a great week. And I'm taking a back seat here today because in the firing line today is our old friend Simon Doull, who's come along. Welcome, Simon.
Thanks very much, Harsha. I'm just wondering, does our commentary go up and down? I mean, what would happen if we had a commentary Upstock's rating?
Let's look at the leaderboard first of all.
What I love about it, Harsha, from first and foremost, 6 Indian players. And some that you might have thought at the start of the season may not have been there. Harsha Patel, Avish Khan. So you've got 2 up-and-comers. Experience, yes, in the form of Harsha Patel. But I just like that there's 6 Indian names on there and not some that you would normally associate with perhaps an Upstock's Cric Index list.
Right, so you're in the hot seat now, Simon. I'm giving you 3 options. You've got to pick 2. Look at DEEPAK Chahar's numbers. Cost only 80 lakhs, started 7.24, it's gone up to 10, growth 38. I'm going to look at Glenn Maxwell. There's a second name I'm throwing at you. Very high cost, 14.25 crores, but he only started at 3.88 because the Cric Index, the Upstock's Cric Index looks at the previous 3 years. He's gone up to 8.33. And the last name I'm giving you is Devdutt Padikkal. So if you look at Devdutt Padikkal, he's only 20 lakhs, but his numbers have zoomed up and he's gone up to 10. So Simon, 3 for you.
Oh dear, it's hard for me to leave my like for like out actually, Harsha. But I think I'm going to leave DEEPAK Chahar aside. He's gone 0-4. Has made a great impact for Chennai Super Kings, but I just think that maybe I'm going to go with the other 2. Glenn Maxwell and Devdutt Padikkal for me are just too difficult to leave out. So I'll leave out DEEPAK Chahar and we'll look at Maxwell and Padikkal this week. I just think there's an all-round package that Glenn Maxwell is bringing to Bangalore. To me, it's not only what he's done with the bat, and he's had 1 terrific innings and sort of carried the game through. But it's the cameos that he's going to have as well. It's in the field. It's what he's offering in the dressing room.
Let's go those assets that didn't quite have such a great week. And I'm going to give you 3. Pick one, Simon. We're going to go first with the big man himself, because expectations are great around Chris Gayle. Here are Gayle's numbers: 36 runs, 36 balls, strike rate only 100 for Chris Gayle. There's Eoin Morgan. He cost 5.25 crores. He's only gone sort of 4.18 to 4.22. Captaincy comes in there as well. And SHUBMAN Gill started 6.89 on the Upstocks Cric Index, down to 6.27. So not a great week for him. So who's your little downer?
And I'm going to go with the big man, Chris Gayle. Look, he will be disappointed himself at the start to the tournament. He needs to find more. And the talking about KL Rahul, he's looking to be more aggressive at the top. Mayank Agarwal, we know how aggressive he can be, but Chris Gayle has got to remember that there are guys at the other end that need the strike. So he's got to be looking for those ones. But because he is not playing the international game anymore, I know he still wants to play for the West Indies, but he's not playing enough international cricket and not playing enough domestic cricket. He comes into these tournaments just a little bit cold. The older you get, the tougher it gets, and the more, I think, your stock just goes down a little bit.
What I will tell you about Chris Gayle, though, is that once he gets it right, he'll go up, 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 and who knows, Simon might have him in the other segment as well. So there you are. Thank you very much to Simon Doull. This was our Upstocks Cric Index Spotlight. So what was the moment of the week? So many, but I've picked one because there's a little story around it. Jadeja's bowling to Butler. The ball's vanished into the stands. We are in a bio bubble, so the ball's got to be changed. But the earlier ball was wet. Now suddenly there's a dry ball, and I hear Dhoni on the stump mic saying, "Suki gende ghumegi, Suki gende ghumegi," and he explained later at the post-match presentation that he said that because he wanted Jadeja to bowl fuller because the ball was going to turn. So there's always a story behind what Dhoni says. He also said at that presentation, he alluded to himself, and he said, if I continue to use 5 or 6 balls like this, it might turn out to be expensive in other games. Dhoni these days at the presentation is so candid, so relaxed that he's almost a storyteller at the presentation. But Dhoni behind the stumps with the stump mic on is always an extra commentator, and he's as witty and insightful as anybody. There are 2 games that I've picked, and I've picked those looking at where the points table is, because it's telling us a lovely story. If you're fans of Bangalore, just rub your eyes and you'll realize this is indeed true. What about Chennai? The yellow, started badly. Everyone said, where are we going to be 3 on the 3 wins? So 3-1 and 4-0. Bangalore and Chennai, to me, are so far the teams of the tournament. So any surprise, therefore, why I have picked the 2 games that I'm looking forward to the most. The first of those is in Mumbai. Now, when you play in Mumbai, you want to chase, the dew is in your favor, but this is an afternoon game. It's not about the wetness of the ball, it's about the wetness of the body. 3:30 is going to be a really difficult game, and that's why I've picked a near top of the table clash, Chennai versus Bangalore. 3:30 start in Mumbai. It's going to be a really difficult game to play. Unlike in Chennai, where at a 3:30 game, you win the toss, bat first necessarily. Your conditions are not going to change. These are 2 teams in really good form. So that is the first game I've picked. The second, for a reason, Delhi versus Bangalore in Ahmedabad. Now look what's happening there. On the 25th, Delhi are playing Hyderabad in Chennai. They've got to fly to Ahmedabad and play immediately. Who are they playing? Bangalore, who are coming out of Mumbai. So here are 2 teams that are doing really well in the tournament. But one's flying from Mumbai, one is flying from Chennai. They've got to come and play in a different environment, from humid, hot conditions to very hot, dry conditions. Huge stadium, completely. I don't know if there'll be as much bounce as we've seen there in the past. So to me, different conditions, all the travel. I'd like to see how these 2 teams adapt. So these are 2 games I really cannot wait to watch. Next week on Upstocks Cric Index presents Reverse Sweep, we'll see कौन लाएगा maximum return on investments. So next week के matches के लिए चलो start करके देखिए.